Welcome to this installment of Today's Triathlon recommendations, updates, tips, everything you want to know about triathlons and more. Today, we're going to be talking about training, but not necessarily swim, bike, and run, strength training, or anything like that. An important component of training, I consider part of training, is recovery and relaxing. If you are running around training all the time and you're wound up so tight that nobody wants to be around you, you're not being fun or anything, it's going to cause problems, long-term damage to personal relationships and all this other stuff. Just want to make sure we're also taking care of our bodies in the background too, because if you're not recovering properly, and this is where it gets into things like, make sure you're building in recovery in your plans if you're doing your own plan, or just making sure that if you miss a workout, you're not cramming it in another workout, and you're not getting the proper recovery that you need. But what is recovery? Is it just not doing anything, or is it doing something, or what is it? So we're going to hit a few bullet points what I consider important as far as being in the world of recovery, and also classify relaxing, rejuvenation. If you're just constantly training, life, training, and you don't take a minute and then you sleep, you're going to get burnt out. Trust me, I have been there several times. I have tried to fit 25 hours in a 24-hour day. And you can kind of get away with it for a little bit, but eventually things are going to come and it's going to kind of collapse around you. And you're going to have problems. If you don't build it in intentionally, then you're going to have problems. A couple different mindsets of recovery. There's active and there's passive. So it's active as you're doing something, passive is something's being done to you. So active recovery I include as static stretching after workouts. I recommend to all my athletes, anybody that does my plans, after your workout, do static stretching. The last thing you want to do is do a workout, maybe you're doing it over lunch, and then hit your desk and just sit there. Over time, you're going to atrophy, and you're going to feel it when you get up, and you're going to be more sore than you need to be. So doing that static stretching lengthens the muscles, kind of gets the blood pumping around, getting that lactic acid out of your muscles, and keeps flexibility and mobility in the forefront of your body, because if you do your workouts and you don't stretch, you're just going to get kind of contorted over time. Your muscles are going to be contracted permanently, or you can't walk around and have proper posture, and everything else is going to lead all kinds of other problems. So make sure you're building in, even if it's 5 minutes, some form of static stretching, even if it's just leaning over, touching your toes, getting the hamstrings all stretched out and doing other things. If you can't get on the ground or anything like that, just make sure you're building in static stretching. Rollers, I like to recommend. I got rollers. I probably don't use them as much as I should be personally. It's kind of a say as I do, not as I, or do as I say, not as I do type of program. But this is great. It is active. I mean, you do have to participate in it. You have to move your body around and that type of thing. But it's great. It hits the spots that gets knotted up over time. You're looking at IT bands, all kinds of other stuff. If you're not doing your stretching, you're not doing rolling and breaking that stuff up, it's going to cause problems later on, and you definitely want to be taking care of that, being proactive. Passive recovery is doing things like compression boots. So I personally use Rapid Reboot. Get them unstuck from over here to show you all. So Rapid Reboot, nice set of recovery boots. They're half the price of Normatec. Same quality. I had a problem with the pump. The first one I got, for whatever reason, wasn't working right. They immediately replaced it, no cost to me. If you need a discount, let me know. I can get you. If you're watching this video, it means you are one of my peeps, so I can get you a discount code. You can get 5, 10% or something like that. We'll check it out if you're interested. But these are great. At the end of the night, just slide them on. They're not exactly the sexiest of things to be wearing at night, but if you're just sitting there watching TV at the end of the night, just relaxing for a little bit, built in your relaxed time, your downtime, this is a great thing. Just throw on the boots and they do all the work for you. You don't have to do anything. Just set the buttons and go. Another form of passive recovery is massage. So you got active release, where they're actually like pushing on points of your body and getting those little spots to release, because you've got little knots all in your muscles, especially your back, legs, and everything. The deep tissue massage is working that area too. It's not just the simple little, I'll rub my shoulders and that feels nice. This is going to be a little bit uncomfortable when they do it, almost to the point of pain. But if it's causing permanent pain, it's a little bit too much. Making sure you're going to a licensed massage therapist. I in Kansas City built relationships with my massage therapist, and I go to the same ones. I don't go to Massage Envy to where I can get the lowest price or anything like that. I've been going there so long, I'm grandfathered into the price I got when I started 6, 7 years ago or something like that. Something crazy. So find a person at work, get recommendations, active release and deep tissue. When I'm in the off season kind of maintenance mode or something like that, it's maybe once a month. Once I really get into the high build, you really, you're doing 18 miles runs, you're doing 3 or 4 hour bike rides, you're doing high intensity work. Almost, if you have the time and the resources, once a week is awesome. Don't do it the day before long workouts or intense workouts. You're kind of building in. You don't want to be too loosened up or have too much going on before big workouts. So I usually try to get them on like a Thursday after I've done my workouts for the day. Friday's usually a little bit more laid back for me. But like I said, find somebody reputable, somebody you trust, somebody that other athletes have gone to. Massage Envy is good and all that, but they may not necessarily be in the mindset of you're an athlete looking for active release, deep tissue massage, that type of thing. I also put in here preventive recovery. I like people to do yoga and flexibility work. It maybe not be most awesome, and it could be in substitute of a strength training session, but just making sure that you keep all the muscles loose, lean, and long. Because if you're flexible, you can recover better, and you're just not all kind of bunched up and atrophied over time. So that's preventative too, to keep everything as lean and long as possible as far as your muscles go, and you can actually stretch and move and do different things other than just being in bike ride, run form, and swim form all the time. After time, that will kind of wear on you if you don't do something to kind of change it up. You're going to have detrimental problems later down the road. So this first couple sections has been more about the physical recovery, but you also need some mental recovery. You need some downtime, some relaxation, some rejuvenation. So a lot of people looking at meditation, even if it's just 10 minutes in the morning, you do your workout, you get ready or whatever, you get to work, you sit in the parking lot for 5, 10 minutes in your car and you just meditate. Don't do anything, just sit there, close your eyes. Don't, it's not nap time necessarily, but just some sort of meditation. You're not thinking about your to-do list. You're just kind of zoning out for a minute and being in the moment. Just a mental break. Because to go get up, do a workout, and get ready, deal with everything, kids, family, whatever you got to do, get to work, jump into work, do a workout over lunch, get done with work, head home, do the dinner, do the family thing, do kid activities, and then go straight to bed. It's kind of tough. I know from experience, doing day after day after day. So if you don't have some time during the day where you can just sit, and sometimes I use that meditation as more of my planning time. I'm just sitting down, no computer, no phone, no nothing, just a notepad, and be like, well, I want to get these things done, whatever. Just some downtime, some meditation time. And like I said, downtime, if it's, watching your favorite shows on Netflix or catching up on YouTube videos or something, or just hanging out, watching a movie with the family, schedule it. It's hard. I tried to maintain the last 45 minutes to an hour of a night is just kind of downtime. It's just hanging out with my wife. We're both just kind of lounging in bed and just watching one of our shows, kind of mindless entertainment. But it's only 45 minutes to an hour. Now, if you're doing this for like 4 or 5 hours a night, as soon as dinner is over at 6 and you're just plopped down watching TV, that might be a little bit much. Maybe that time could be better served doing other things or going to bed earlier. But schedule downtime, at least try to get it every day. I know there's some days it's just not possible. I know Mondays are just crazy around my house, and so are Tuesdays. Lots of activities for me, my wife, my kids, and everything's going on. But try to schedule it, even if it's just 30 minutes or something, where it's just mindless entertainment and you're just hanging out, being with the family, just talking about stuff. Just make sure it's built in there. Because if you don't intentionally put it in there, it will happen. Find other interests aside from triathlon. Don't be a one-dimensional person. Don't be work, triathlon, family. I'm probably a little bit guilty of that. It has helped. I am big old Chiefs homer. Go Chiefs at the time of this recording. They'll be playing in the AFC Championship game on January 16th, 17th, 20th, I think. So I'm a huge Chiefs homer. Patrick Mahomes has restored my interest in faith in the team a little bit more than it was. I've always been a fan. But when you're in back-to-back KFC title games, it kind of restores your faith a little bit, gives you a little bit more excitement other than just being a one-dimensional or two-dimensional person or whatever, just being like family, triathlon, and work. And that's all. And especially for me being a coach, my work is triathlon. So, and I'm a fan of Kansas basketball. So as far as up, so that's always nice. But this gives me opportunity to have a little bit more interest and a little bit more closing options other than just walking around on all my triathlon stuff all the time. So don't be one-dimensional. Find hobbies outside of the sport that have your mind working on other things, thinking about other things. And this works out well for you being a Chiefs fan and watching sports. Watching it, having that downtime, watching sports, and maybe you're doing other things other than working out. And sometimes I do the workouts. I'll record a game and I'll watch it Monday morning or something like that when I'm on my trainer. But it gives you something else to kind of be focused on, interested in, and especially when you're involved with your family, your spouse, your friends, significant others, whatever. They probably don't want to hear you moan on about triathlon all the time. They'll probably tolerate it maybe 85% of the time, but have other interests. It just makes you more well-rounded and makes your brain work on other things besides triathlon. I know this stuff's, I'm obsessed with it as much as the next person out there doing long course triathlons and into the sport. But just make sure you have other interests out there, because you don't want to be one-dimensional and just so focused on this. If something happens to throw you off, you're just totally off your game and you're totally lost. Wouldn't know what to do with yourself if you didn't have triathlon in your life. Personally, if triathlon wasn't there, I'd be more of a Chiefs homer. I'd be more of a Kansas basketball homer and more engaged in everything else out there that I have a minor interest in that I just didn't have time for. So make sure you got other things going on. But for the most part, that's what I wanted to talk about is training, but we're looking at the recovery and the rejuvenation side of the sport. Make sure that you have other avenues and mechanisms to get in there and get your recovery, get your rejuvenation. You don't just want to be a one-dimensional person. You don't want to just be a robot all the time, because it's not possible over the long haul. And if you want to be doing this long term, like myself, I've been doing long course since 2013, been doing triathlons since 2004, marathons, you name it. The key to longevity is being rejuvenating yourself and being multifaceted and being more well-rounded, other than just being focused on those sports all the time. If you got any questions or need any recommendations, or you want to be a Chiefs fan like me and want to know how to really get on the bandwagon, always drop me a message, let me know, and I'll be glad to get back to you.